What's new? Topping 1,000. The new COVID-19 numbers are out. We're going to tell you when we last saw a spike this big.
What? Okay, I'm terrified to look at this one. This is no mask. Ooh. Ooh.
Putting masks to the test. Just how many germs spread when you are sneezing or talking or coughing with a mask on and without one.
Back in the classroom. It's something many are hoping will happen this fall, but there's a chance it won't. We'll tell you how area schools are preparing for the next school year.
COVID-19 outbreak. We're live in Put-in-Bay to see if visitors are following guidelines.
I feel like if there's a way to change it, you should. So that's what I'm trying to do.
And a call to action. We'll tell you how this young girl is using keychains to help try to bring an end to social injustice. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Happy Wednesday, friends. Hard to believe it's already Wednesday, doesn't it seem that way?
The weeks just zoom by anymore. I don't know if it's me or...
The whirlwind that we're all stuck in.
I think so, yeah. I think
monotony of it all. Anywho, it is Wednesday. We are halfway to the weekend. I'm Betsy Kling along with Jay Crawford. Here we are in studio together. Virtual high five again.
Boom. That's how we start the show officially every day. Hello again to you at home. So good to be with you again. Let's get it rolling today with the latest on the coronavirus. And Betsy, today marks 100 days since Governor DeWine first issued that stay-at-home order. I remember that like it was yesterday. And that order lasted nearly 2 months before it went down to a recommendation. That was on May 19th. But in the 6 weeks since we have been reopened here, this virus still has not retreated. And as we're testing bigger and bigger numbers every day, our number of positive cases go up with it. Today's number of new positive cases, over 1,000, 1,076 new positive cases in the last 24-hour reporting window. I've been emailing with the state all day, Betsy. I was trying to get a number of tests given every day. And although they do have that number, there's a lag of about 2 to 3 days. So we won't actually know how many people were tested for this 1,076 number for the next couple of days. We do know the testing has been up. That number, 1,076, a big increase from our 21-day average, also a big increase from just yesterday's number. There is some good news. One death is too many, but deaths are way down from 45 yesterday, down to just 13 reported here today. ICU patients and also patients on ventilators, both of those numbers remain unchanged from yesterday.
Well, now on your feet at 5, it is the one big logistical question that still remains to be answered as we move forward with coronavirus. What happens with schools? Tomorrow, as Brandon Simmons will tell us, is a huge day because Governor DeWine is expected to announce his plans for the school districts and how they should reopen. So, Brandon, can we expect to hear the news tomorrow? I mean, is it going to be a definitive plan, or do you think he's going to kind of pass it off to the school districts and say good luck?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to hear tomorrow. We do have a little bit of insight, but over the last month or so, we've heard from so many different school districts across Northeast Ohio just about their plans on how they're going to be able to operate come fall. Now, some schools have talked about complete online scenarios, while others have discussed a staggered solution that would include having some students show up to school on different days of the week. And yet another solution that's been proposed is to have certain grades in the classroom 5 days a week, while other grades participate in more of a blended learning environment. Now, the reason we've heard schools creating so many different types of plans, the plan A, B, C, D, E, is because the governor hasn't released official guidelines to them just yet, something we expect to be released tomorrow.
What we're understanding, what's going to be released hopefully tomorrow, is differentiated based on the contagion that each city and county have, so that you don't have to all follow one cookie cutter kind of approach across the state. And certainly we support that.
Now, obviously, all those different plans schools are coming up with that could come into play, so that's important that it can be different. Now, the American Academy of Pediatrics released guidance last week saying the AAP strongly advocates that all policy considerations for the coming school year should start with a goal of having students physically present in school. Now, Betsy, of course, we don't know if that's going to be possible, but if students are not allowed in school, of course, parents are going to have to deal with some of the things they had to deal with in spring. That could be technological glitches. That can mean finding lunch. It can mean finding childcare. So that's why I think so many people will be paying attention tomorrow when Governor DeWine makes that announcement come 2 p.m.
It is such a huge deal. And, you know, you have to think Cleveland Metropolitan School District has almost 39,000 students in the district. And then you kind of compare that to something like Loudonville, Perrysville School District down in Ashland County. They only have like 1,000 students. So one size does not fit all. One plan does not fit all. And so it's going to be interesting to see how these districts shake it out. Great info. Thanks, Brandon. Jay?
I've got a question for you, Bets. We were talking just before the show started. I know you have 2 young girls. One has already been in school. And your little Violet was set to start kindergarten in the fall. I imagine you're hearing from both as to what they want. I'm curious to know what the kids want to do. What are yours saying?
Well, the kids miss their friends, number one. That is their social life. So Josie is she's going into 6th grade. She is definitely missing her friends and kind of seeing how things go. That's such a big part of her life. Violet is so excited about kindergarten. It's this mystical place where she thinks it's all rainbows and unicorns and sprinkles, but she really wants to see what school is like and make new friends. And we just don't know what's going to happen yet. So
yeah, I'm sure it's an anxious time for. By the way, kindergarten is all about rainbows and unicorns and sprinkles.
It's also about sharing and getting in line and doing what you're told.
You know, what I was going to say is it's the later grades where the unicorns and the sprinkles disappear. Once homework comes, it's not all it's cracked up to be. All right, Betsy, thanks. Put-in-Bay is a hot spot for summertime fun. We know that, but it also looks like it could be becoming a bit of a hot spot for COVID-19. That's because 8 people who recently visited the island have now tested positive for the coronavirus. They were there from June 17th to the 21st. Anyone else there during that window has been asked to self-quarantine for 14 days. The town's mayor is warning visitors to wear masks. Let's bring in Jason Fraser now, who went over to Put-in-Bay. Jason, what did you see? Are people wearing masks?
Hey there, Jay. Well, you know, it is an absolutely gorgeous day to be here at Put-in-Bay, but to answer your question, it really depends on what part of Put-in-Bay you're in. We saw people who did have on face masks, and then others didn't. Take a look behind me here, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here at the candy bar. You'll notice that the people who were there don't have on a face mask, but across the street, you will notice 1 or 2 people at the Boathouse Bar and Grill, and we have seen a couple of patrons there also have on some face masks, but the majority of people also there did not have on any facial coverings. I want to show you some video that we shot earlier today, and you'll see that people have been walking around. People have been really trying to figure out a way to enjoy themselves, but overall, the majority of people here don't have on a face mask. Now, health officials tell 3 News that 8 people, 6 from Lucas County and 2 from Ottawa County, did test positive for COVID-19, and they have visited the Commodore Hotel along with the Miss and Mr. Ed from June 17th through the 21st. So health officials are asking anybody who was in contact either with those people or at that place during that time to certainly make sure that you social distance and quarantine for 14 days. But Jay, really the best advice here is to do like we are doing right now, wear a face mask.
Yeah, it's interesting, Jason, because I've been to the islands many times. I've gone to Kelly's several times this year, and you're not seeing people with the masks. I'm wondering if it's that vacation vibe. It's almost like people are on weekends and suddenly the rules don't apply anymore. They still apply. You can get this no matter where you are, no matter what day of the week it is. And I see that the crowds are down, but this weekend, it's going to be huge there, obviously with the 4th of July weekend. Jason, I know you touched on it briefly. Can you tell us anything more that folks that visited those businesses should be doing?
Yeah, and you know what, Jay? It's important to really tell people this. You know, look, this is going to be an adjustment. This is something that we are still getting used to. So we are going to have some people who do abide by the rules, who don't abide by the rules. Now, to answer your question, if you were at any of the locations during the dates that are in question, they're just asking you to contact your local health department, whether that's in Lucas County or in Ottawa County. And that's just so that they can keep track of where those hotspots are, and they can also notify someone else if they could potentially end up having COVID-19.
All right, very good. Jason Fraser from Put-in-Bay. Jason, thanks. Stay safe. Betsy?
You too.
Well, since many pools are closed amid the pandemic, Northeast Ohio families are turning to lakes and rivers and streams for their summer swimming and especially boating pleasure. And as 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski found out, that's worrying some local and state agencies. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Betsy. Officers with Ohio Department of Natural Resources, or ODNR, tell me that they're seeing a lot of crowds, and with a lot of crowds, they're seeing more accidents. 63 boating accidents, in fact, for 2020 so far. So what does that mean to you? Well, compared to years past, that's a high number for this point in the season.
We've started seeing a higher increase in boating accidents earlier on in the season than we normally would.
In early June, a father and son who went missing on Lake Erie were found dead after their boat capsized.
Lake Erie is a dangerous lake, and you need to be prepared and well informed before you go out.
And that's a warning for boaters and swimmers alike. After all, drowning is one of the leading causes of unintentional death for children in the United States.
Swimming in a lake is not like swimming in a pool. You're going to have wind, current, we do get riptides on Lake Erie.
And ODNR tells me that they've been seeing large crowds since Memorial Day, and they expect to see even larger crowds this 4th of July weekend, Betsy.
Oh, it is such a great weekend to be out and about and at the beaches and all that stuff. All right, so they know the crowds are coming. What are they doing to get ready?
So they are preparing by having extra officers. They're also having a BUI awareness and enforcement campaign. It's called Operation Dry Water. And what this means is that more officers will be out and about looking for boaters who are boating under the influence. Of course, we'll have more information about that on our website, WKYC.com, Betsy.
It's always good to know. It's a great reminder for everybody, too. Thanks a lot, Rachel. We'll see you again soon. All right, it's time now to check in with Laura Queso for a little bit more on what else is happening in today's top headlines. Good afternoon, Laura.
Hello to you, Betsy. Let's get to it. President Trump is so adamant about keeping military bases named after Confederate figures that he's now threatening to veto a defense bill. That's because the bill calls for renaming those bases within 3 years. But the bill also gives 3% pay raises to troops, which would not happen if the bill is vetoed. The bill has bipartisan support, and if the president vetoes it, he'll be alienating those in his own party. 75-year-old Martin Gugino, who suffered a brain injury when he was pushed to the ground by Buffalo police officers during a protest last month, is now out of the hospital. At one time, Gugino lived and worked here in Northeast Ohio. The 2 officers involved now face criminal charges. Well, we have some promising news on a potential coronavirus vaccine from Pfizer. Early testing of 2 dosages shows that after 28 days, patients developed higher levels of COVID antibodies than typically seen in infected people. The vaccine was mostly well tolerated, although more than half of the 36 patients reported minor side effects. The next step here is to see if it protects against a real infection. I know a lot of eyes will be on that. Hopefully some promising news ahead.
Yep, we are certainly waiting for it. All right, Laura, thanks so much. We'll see you again in the next half hour.
Sure.
Well, still ahead for us, a 10-year-old girl making a difference one homemade craft at a time. The very special inspiration behind the keychains that she's selling just ahead.
And with baseball coming back, will we see the tribe's lovable mascot, Slider? We've got that answer in Clicking in Cleveland. And Matt, how's that beautiful weather looking?
Hi, Jay. Another stellar day across the area today. But how long does this last? I mean, we can't always have nice things here in Northeast Ohio. So what is at the end of all this? I've got your latest extended forecast through that holiday weekend coming up.
Welcome back to What's New. As we continue to work towards a more fair and just society for everyone, ideas come from all corners, even from the young. A teacher at Gross-Schechter Day School in Pepper Pike emailed us with a story of one of his students taking action to try to stop racial injustices. Jasmine Monroe brings us her story.
I feel like if there's a way to change it, you should. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I really hope that it works.
Recently, there's been a lot of negative news topping headlines from COVID-19.
Breaking news tonight, the record rise in COVID cases. The U.S. hits a new daily high.
To racial injustice.
From New York to Washington to blocking traffic on the Golden Gate Bridge, the most widespread protests yet.
No more silence. But for 10-year-old Lila Levin, she took that as a call to action and came up with the idea to make heart-shaped keychains to bring awareness to racial injustice.
One day I was playing with the keychain, I was playing with the fuse beads, and I was making one, and my mom and I realized that it kind of looked like the different skin tones mixed together.
So with the help of her family, she created a plan, Beads for Change, designing more than 150 keychains and donating all of the money raised to Color of Change, an organization designed to help fight for justice.
This project was truly 100% hers. So it was just us sharing with her information and her feeling an intrinsic need to make a difference.
Oh, these are all the colors.
Keychains, or should I say key change, representing all skin tones fused together. A reminder that there is no option other than true racial equality.
It's great to see her take these initiatives and blossom and hopefully be a future leader and be the future that this country really needs.
I really hope that people will buy these and they know that that money will be helping somebody else.
So cute.
Wow, it's adorable. So I'm assuming we're going to put on our website how you can buy these.
Oh, they're everywhere. They're called perler beads.
No, the actual keychains.
Oh,
the
yeah,
keychains.
those too. I love the idea of making more and donating them
well,
also. But the
I was gonna say, she made 150. Right. I'm pretty sure those are gonna sell out.
Really precious.
But we'll get the information on our website, how you can order these or get one from her.
Or make a donation for supplies.
Yeah, she's probably gonna need to buy a lot more beads because I imagine they're the demand for these, at least here in Cleveland, will be pretty great. What a great idea.
They are good.
Very, very cool.
Love that, definitely. All right, it is time to talk weather. Friends, I got to tell you, it is a beautiful day today. Just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Just in case. Somebody may say, gosh, I wonder if the weather was nice today. It was great. All right, I'm going to sign off on that one. Matt can also tell you that he's out back with the kids. Matt, how's the report from outside?
I'll tell you, it's equally as great outside, Betsy, as what those numbers look like on a map inside a dark studio, for sure. You know, Betsy and Jay, I asked the bosses last week, I said, we saw this weather coming. Can I take the week off? And they said, absolutely not. We still need to attach weather to the newscast. So I don't know what's going on, but next week you might need us. Do you have a weather word today, Jay?
I do. Fireworks.
Oh, easy.
You should be able to fit that in, no problem.
Probably should have made a fireworks forecast. That would have made this a lot easier. But I'm going to explain this baby real quick.
There?
So this was so.
It looked so much bigger a second ago.
We were trying to hide this. So Mama got a new diaper changer for the new baby that's on the way, and River was staring at this. I posted it on my Instagram earlier today. He was staring at this baby, so I cut it out, so he could practice being around a baby. But you weren't supposed to see that on TV. River, come get the baby. Here's your brother or sister. We don't know yet.
Oh, that's great.
All right, let's jump into the weather. Yeah. Live TV, everybody. You're doing great, honey. All right, let's jump into the weather here. We've got temperatures that are a little bit warmer today. A couple degrees warmer down to the south. Notice how area-wide we're generally in the mid-80s right now. It's a comfortably warm day. We'll put it that way because we are in July now. But look at the heat down in Texas. 100-degree heat. That's going to stay there and build over the next couple days. In terms of the radar loop today, we were dry. We had a couple cumulus clouds bubbling up along that lake breeze boundary. The bigger picture shows that stubborn low off towards our east, which is finally starting to break down. It's been miserable up and down the I-95 corridor out east. So I'm telling you, we are very lucky to be where we are on the map. map. That frontal boundary that's keeping us dry is still pushed down to the south and the west, where it's going to kind of wash out over the next 24 hours. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast, more of the same. We're back into the low 60s tonight, perhaps some upper 50s. The air not that humid, all things considered, so that tends to dry us out a little quicker and cool us down a little bit quicker as well. So comfortably cool tonight for your Thursday. More of the same. Temperatures a little bit cooler near that lake breeze with your 5 to 10 miles of the lake. And then as you get inland, we should make it well up into the 80s once again. In terms of the warmest temperatures of the year, our average high goes up. Right now it's 82. It goes up to 83 degrees July 4th through the 24th. So typically those are some of the hottest days of the year. And boy, is Mother Nature going to be on par this year. The upper air flow over the next 10 days, you can see that ridge that's in place now goes way up into Canada, comes down in the northeast. Watch how this sucker builds over the next couple days. It'll be great for fireworks over the weekend, but as we get on into next week, that's when it's going to get a little sultry around here. And it's not just for us, it's going to be across a good portion of the country, as we'll have July-like heat around here. In terms of rainfall, that ridge, all the showers and storms ride along it. And when that thing sets up overhead, notice the rainfall all the way through next week. There's not much in the Ohio Valley. So again, the yards, the planters that I always forget about, all of that's going to need watered here as we go throughout the weekend. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. We're in the 80s the next 2 days. And then as we go on into Sunday and Monday, that's when we really flip the switch around here up into the low 90s, even mid 90s with some humidity as well. So the thunderstorm chances really reserved towards next week. Looks like a fairly dry 5-day forecast from here on out. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Matt. Good luck with the baby. Bye, Emmy. We'll talk to you soon. All righty. Well, coming up, everybody, the next lunar eclipse is on the horizon. Now, it'll be the third one this year, so now the big question becomes, will we actually get to see it here? Well, we'll have the story in Clicking in Cleveland. That's next. Okay. Oh, yeah, there's the music, and we know that means Stephanie Haney is here now to tell us what's been clicking in Cleveland today. Happy Wednesday to you, Steph.
Happy Wednesday, Betsy. We start off with some news down to the south of us. That statue of Christopher Columbus that stood in front of City Hall in Columbus went down today. Crews got there very early at 3 in the morning, and once they got their crane in place, it took 3 hours to take it down. Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther said the statue does not represent the values of the city, and he's asked the Columbus Art Commission to lead a community-driven process where the public can have a say in what will replace it, among other changes that the city can make to embrace diversity. Now today is the start of summer camp, or spring training 2.0 as it's being called in Major League Baseball, and people still have a lot of questions about what that's going to look like. So while some things change, some will remain the same. Curtis Danberg talked with our 3 News' Jay Chodowski, and he told him that they just don't know if fans will be allowed to attend any games in person this year. That's not a big surprise, but they're going to put a plan together. But at the end of the day, it's about the health and safety of players and fans. But one familiar face will be inside Progressive Field. Slider will be there. Danberg said he'll be keeping distant and he'll be wearing a mask, but he'll be there. So at least that much will stay the same. And Mother Nature is helping out with the celebration for America's birthday this year. There will be a full moon and a lunar eclipse this weekend. So an eclipse happens when the moon passes through part of the Earth's shadow that creates a lunar eclipse. And on Saturday, people across North and South America will be able to see it. Here in Northeast Ohio, the eclipse will start on Saturday night, the 4th of July, just after 11 p.m. Eastern, and it'll continue until Sunday morning just before 2 a.m. But the best time to look will be during the middle of the event, so right around 12:30 a.m. Eastern, and you won't need a telescope to see it. You won't need any special glasses because it's not like a solar eclipse, and we're not going to have another one around here until November 30th, which this is Ohio, Betsy, so who knows what the weather will be like then, right? So this weekend might be a good time to stay up a little late, look up outside, and enjoy that lunar eclipse.
Yeah, I think the weather's going to cooperate. We'll probably have a few clouds around, but we should be able to see it overall. All right, good news, Steph. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you again coming up in a little bit. All right, this is definitely going to get your attention, the mask test. We just saw these video clips and we're like, what? Just how effective are masks from spreading disease? We have some very interesting answers for you. And we're also going to be talking about kids and fireworks. Obviously, the two don't go so well together, but if you are going to be mixing up the two, we're going to let you know a little bit more about burn injuries, and that can even happen with sparklers. And also a moving tribute, a powerful performance on America's Got Talent leaves one judge speechless and another in tears. We'll have more ahead in the pop break.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Yes, it is, and we have made it to the halfway point of What's New, the bottom of the hour. We are halfway to Friday. Thank you so much for spending time with us on this beautiful, gorgeous Wednesday. I feel like I need to send you flowers, Betsy, because this string of weather has been marvelous.
Cookies.
Cookies over flowers.
Yeah.
Okay, duly noted.
Yeah.
Cookies tomorrow, I promise. It is time for us to do what we do every day at this time, Betsy. Tell you something good.
We love to tell everybody good news, and this is pretty cool good news. Get ready to see your prehistoric friends. Starting today, the Cleveland Zoo visitors will get to see more than 20 enormous animatronic dinosaurs along Waterfowl Lake. This is a really cool thing that they do there. The T-Rex stands nearly 20 feet tall. Visitors can explore the 7 continents and the dinosaurs that roam there. I love to see those things. Have you ever been out there when they're there? Like
I have not.
They make noises and they do their thing.
Kiddos love the dinosaurs too. I mean, there's so much to look at, and they're just so massive.
Right. Now that the Natural History Museum is open again with masks and everything and your tickets, but it's just kind of a 1-2 punch. You can see the ones that are fake and then go show them the bones of the real ones.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. All right, Betsy, thanks. Today's top talker is masks. It's the debate that will not end. Some states are mandating them. We want to know if you would feel safer if masks were mandatory in Ohio. I haven't seen the numbers yet. I'm going to peek down. Not a surprise. Yeah, of course you'd feel more safe if masks were mandatory. 70% of you say yes, you would feel more safe. You can still weigh in, WKYC.com/vote now. While you vote, Kevin Kim with our NBC affiliate in Washington State did something really cool. He put these different masks to the test to see how effective they really are. Watch.
From blue polos to blue lab coats and gloves, we headed down to Sacred Heart's laboratory to unmask a common question. What exactly does a mask do? So we teamed up with the hospital's microbiology director, Dr. Rich Davis.
This one will be no mask. It's a demonstration of where respiratory droplets go and how easy they are to transmit and how a mask is effective at blocking those. That's really the key takeaway.
Here's how this demonstration worked. I had a petri dish in front of my face as if it's another person's face. Then, with and without a mask, I talked.
Hey, how you doing?
Sang.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
Coughed. And sneezed. Dr. Davis put the dishes in an incubator, and we waited 24 hours for our results.
So these are the plates that you were interacting with yesterday, with or without a mask.
Let's start with the face-to-face demonstration. Mask on the left, no mask on the right. Let's go with talking first.
What's a mask? Oh, that looks good. Talking without a... Oh, okay. I'm actually shocked there's any at all. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Next up, singing.
This was Changes by Tupac, and this was Smash Mouth. Things will never be the same, never be the same, yeah.
Pretty similar to talking.
So now we've got coughing. So this was just two coughs.
Really? That's crazy.
But those droplets were nothing compared to the ones from sneezing. First, mask on.
What? Okay, I'm terrified to look at this one. This is no mask. Ooh. Oh.
When I had my mask on, no yellow dots. But when I didn't, there was always something.
I think we're coming into a new reality where masks fit into that very social conscious paradigm. You do simple things that everyone can do. It's not going to be 100% effective, but if we all do it, it's going to definitely make a difference in preventing things from spreading one person to another.
Wow. First of all, Kevin, thanks. I think that was very fascinating and informative. And Betsy, that one story proves more than anything that I've seen that you didn't waste your time with those 10,000 masks.
The masks, they work. I know people, there's this whole faction of people that are like, they don't work anyway, whatever. they weren't guaranteed to work. They're not to work 100%. We know that. It just helps to cut down and filter it. And I can't help but think that sneezing, you know, when you sneeze into a mask, you better have a standby or backup right there too, because you see how much of that stuff comes out. You want to go ahead and swap that out.
It really is amazing. The sneeze, that's how this disease is spreading. People are sneezing without masks on, and you can see the proof is in the pudding. Those germs are going everywhere, and if you have COVID-19, the virus is coming out with your sneeze.
Exactly, and to keep in mind, the plates that you saw, that's not COVID-19 growing on there necessarily. That's just germs.
Bacteria,
and goo, human sputum. That's the new word that we've learned in this whole coronavirus thing, sputum. Okay, good times. Well, let's see how yours voting. You're still 73% of folks are saying yes. We like to have people wearing the mask. We would feel safer, certainly. One of the gals here in the newsroom, very good about wearing her mask, Laura Queso, and she walks in every day. We're going to get a check on the latest headlines with you now, Laura. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's how I walk in. Mask, no makeup, hair not done. Yep, that's the ritual, Betsy.
And then poof,
and then here we are. Okay. All right, let's get to your headlines, shall we? First, the Department of Homeland Security now has a task force to protect the nation's monuments, memorials, statues, and also federal facilities. As you know, many statues were pulled down or vandalized during recent protests. In fact, after protesters tried to pull down a statue of President Andrew Jackson near the White House, President Trump threatened to punish anyone who vandalized or destroyed statues with prison time. Starting today, you do not need a front license plate on your vehicle. However, commercial tractors still need the front plate. The move is expected to save the state $1.5 million. All right, there is a new millionaire in Northeast Ohio. Lottery officials say a $1 million ticket was sold in North Canton at a Circle K store. The ticket holder matched all 5 numbers except the Mega Ball. Now, get this, no one won the top prize, so Friday's drawing will be worth $62 million. If I'm missing during the 6 o'clock, you know where I am. I may or may not be buying a ticket.
You might be buying 2, actually. I'll give you my money.
Okay, but then we split it if, you know.
There you go.
If you
Okay,
win.
we can do that, certainly. Thanks, Laura.
Sure.
Jay?
And then if you guys aren't here next week, I'll just assume you won.
Well, that might be.
Backyard fireworks. Oh, they can be dangerous. The 3 things you need to know that can happen to your skin if you get burned, plus what you can do for your kiddos if they get burned by sprinklers.
Sparklers.
Sparklers. What I say, sprinklers?
Yeah, the sprinklers would be the good thing to run
They
through.
probably
The sparklers
won't
are
burn
bad.
you, the sprinklers.
Well, you never know. There's a tripping hazard, certainly. All right, let's get a check of the forecast. Matt, how's that weather looking?
Hi there, Betsy. An all-important 4th of July weekend ahead of us. Are we going to see any rain spoilers around? And how about that heat? We'll detail that coming up in your forecast. So I think a bird got a hold of that.
Welcome back to What's New. That's our pop break song. You know that by now. It is time to get you up to speed on what's going on in the world of entertainment. We have a powerful performance and a social justice message some call insensitive. Here's Stephanie Haney with our daily pop break.
Riverdale star and Bay Village native Lily Reinhart is apologizing today after posting a suggestive photo on Instagram with a caption that some fans called tone deaf. The Hustlers actor posted a side profile shot in her birthday suit with the caption, "Now that my side boob has gotten your attention, Breonna Taylor's murderers have not been arrested. Demand justice." Despite the fact that it's a current trend on social media to post an attention-grabbing pic and then call for racial justice, commenters called it an insensitive way to go about the situation. Reinhart apologized on Twitter and said that she only had good intentions going into it. America's Got Talent made history last night with one contestant delivering a performance unlike anything ever seen before on the AGT stage.
And that's the cost of love. Caring for someone so much that you can't imagine living life without them.
Brandon Leaks, a spoken word poet, shocked the judges with a moving tribute to his younger sister who passed away when he was a child. His powerful message left Sofia Vergara in tears and Simon Cowell speechless, but made the biggest impact on Howie Mandel.
You moved me to do this.
They speak of a better place. Now that is a great use of the golden buzzer. And Grey's Anatomy fans got a blast from the past on Instagram today.
It's a beautiful day to save lives.
Former cast member Patrick Dempsey shared a mask selfie with the caption, "It's a beautiful day to save lives." The classic catchphrase from his character, McDreamy Dr. Derek Shepherd, who was killed off in 2015 after 11 years on the show. Dempsey was one of a few celebs who shared photos encouraging people to wear masks, including Reese Witherspoon, who said it's not a political statement, it's just the kind thing to do. And Kerry Washington, who was not shy about throwing shade at people who don't mask up in public. Kerry Washington was showing designer shade with those Fenty sunglasses. Very fancy there. Now, speaking of throwing shade, yes, people were giving Lily Reinhart a hard time about that post, but so many people were posting those risque photos and then these huge long captions, which who knows if anybody reads them. And then they had just a line about racial justice at the end, Jay and Betsy. So I will say this for Lily. She was short and sweet, and she got to the point, and it did seem like her heart was in the right place.
Yeah. I think the whole movement is a little off. It seems a little self-serving. And also, I'm not sure use of nudity is the best way to make a social justice point, but I'm sure some people saw some value in it. Maybe I'm too old for that. I don't know.
I'm going to say get over yourself, lady. Come on.
Okay, Betsy said what I was thinking.
I mean,
that's what I was thinking.
But
Betsy, thanks for pulling no punches there.
I think there's some attention seeking happening there, for sure.
Little bit of look at me. Okay. Steph, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks.
Oh, all right. Let's switch things up a little bit, shall we?
I think that's a great idea.
Uh-oh, what's going on, Matt?
Got to be careful with it.
We have
Listen,
what's the matter?
I mean, you can burn yourself on these things. I'm telling you, you need to be careful with the sprinklers, okay? So don't touch this.
Look at her.
The new baby, we cannot have the new baby touching it either. They can burn you. That's what J-Pop said. I don't know where, but just you stay away from sprinklers, okay?
Oh,
all right, no touch.
You're confusing that child, Matt.
Why? She's like, Dad, you're
We'll go
nuts.
over it later. There's a big science to it. J-Pop will come over and explain this weekend.
J-Pop
recently
said
guys?
that, sprinklers will burn you, so we had to correct that.
I meant to say sparklers.
It's very good to cover all bases.
Can I explain it, Matt and Betsy? My mind has been in sprinkler mode because of this lack of rain that we've had. Really, I know we've had intermittent here and there, but are we below where we should be for like the month, Matt? I know it's July 1st, but how did we wrap up June?
Yeah. Jay, we didn't even go over this. I actually have a graphic ready for you to talk about June rainfall. I promise. You teed that up just perfectly.
And we didn't know.
Jay.
It just,
I appreciate
just
that.
happened. Absolutely.
He's a pro.
We didn't. Yeah, everything started to get dry really starting in June. Remember the wet spring we had? We thought we'd never get out of that, but we have gotten out of it quickly. How quickly things change this time of year, especially with these warmer air masses that come in and drier air as well. So let's talk about this evening briefly. You know, really no changes. This is picture perfect weather across the Buckeye State. We're going to fall back into the 60s tonight for all your outdoor plans tonight, though we'll be in the 70s with a manageable humidity. Yeah, it's humid, but it could be worse this time of year. We did have a couple pop-up clouds. Those were weather courtesy of the lake breeze and a system off towards our east. That will not impact us. It's going to stay right where it's at. And you can see the dry air that we have in between that and the weather system down to our south and the west. That boundary is holding back not just some real thick humidity, but the heat as well. That heat is building across Texas, and that will eventually expand here as we go into next week. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. So quiet tonight, just a couple clouds around tomorrow afternoon with, once again, that lake breeze, which starts with the cooler air over the lake. It expands because that cold air is heavier and dense, and it moves inland anywhere from 5 to 15 miles, depending on the day. Otherwise, we're baking down in Akron, Mansfield, Dover, New Philly, going to reach the mid and even upper 60s again. All right, June rainfall. We wrapped the book on it. This is what J-Pop was asking about. Here are the numbers. That number down at the bottom is how much below average we were for the month. You can see Mansfield running about 2 inches below average. This isn't enough to kick us into a drought, but you got to start somewhere with a drought. We don't want to get into that territory, but as we go over the next 7 days, here's the estimated rainfall across the country. The majority out in the plain states. Ohio really the bullseye with no rain. So we could squeak out a couple showers perhaps Saturday night, and then next week a better chance. But overall, we need it. You're right. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. We're up into the 90s after a dry, beautiful weekend. Again, we'll watch that Saturday night window, but on into next week, we turn hot, we turn more humid, but that also brings the chance of a couple pop-up showers and storms. Jay and Betsy.
All right, good to know.
Careful of those
certainly.
sprinklers, too.
Yes, watch out for those sprinklers.
I have some explaining to do.
Yeah, right?
You do.
She was
Please tell her that all of that was wrong.
I think we should send you the video clip so you can see the look on her face while you were doing that, because she was definitely a little confused on that one.
She's gonna be paranoid of sprinklers the rest of her life.
And then the cardboard baby. All right, we got a lot to unpack there. All right, it is Wellness Wednesday, and this weekend is 4th of July. And with so many cities canceling fireworks this year, doctors are worried that there will be a spike in people setting off their own fireworks, which means more injuries. So before you go letting off fireworks and running through fiery sprinklers or setting off sparklers, Dr. Andrew Needing with the Burn Program at Metro Health wants you to remember these 3 things that can happen if you get a big burn.
Anytime you lose a large piece of your skin or a large area of your skin, you're going to lose some fluid. So we're concerned with fluid loss for our larger burns. We are concerned with infection. We really do take for granted what our skin does to protect from bacteria and foreign invaders. So infection and thermoregulation. So the ability to keep our own heat. When we lose that large area of skin, a lot of heat can escape the body.
And over all of that, burns really hurt, and they hurt for a really long time. If you burned your fingers or anything else, you know, so you don't want that to happen to your tiny humans. Sparklers seem like they're innocent fun for kids, but they can actually cause a deep burn. They burn very, very hot. And the doctor said he's had patients admitted to the hospital because their clothes ignited by a sparkler. So moms and dads, Grammys, grandpas, J-Pops, aunts, uncles, everybody, make sure those kids have proper supervision if you're going to let them do the sparkler thing. And if something does happen, God forbid, call 911 right away. They'll be able to help you decide what next steps to take.
Be careful, for sure. Coming up, need a reason to fill out that census? $900 billion with a B is at stake. The push to fill it out starts today. Where census checkers will be and where all that money goes. We have it next in our Legally Speaking segment.
And a game of horse got a little too intense between Shaq and Rob Gronkowski. What happened next in this video? Hello, how are you? Laura started with us in the middle of all this, and I'm still working from home since March 23rd, so I haven't even had a chance to meet her yet. I know, I haven't met her.
Welcome back to What's New. Today is a big day because this is when census takers start working with organizations to make sure everyone is counted. This is hugely important. 3 News digital anchor Stephanie Haney, who's also a lawyer, breaks down the importance of completing the census in today's Legally Speaking.
It's census time. Here in the U.S., we make a big effort to count every one of us every 10 years, and it's a pretty big deal because there's an estimated $900 billion in federal funding at stake. The results of the census decide where that money goes and how it gets spent once it gets there, divided up between things like fire stations, public schools, road repairs, hospitals, and food stamps. And it decides how many representatives we get, both locally and nationally. More people counted in our neighborhoods means more representation. Legally speaking, that means a bigger say when it comes to measures that get voted on that have a huge impact on our everyday lives. And we're not just talking for 1 year here, we're talking for the next decade. Also, for the first time ever, every single household has the option to fill out the census online at 2020census.gov. But you can respond by phone or by mail if you want to. By the way, the census doesn't ask whether you're a U.S. citizen, so no matter your status, it's important to fill it out because the goal is to count absolutely everyone, including people that don't have an address. Starting July 1st, census takers will begin checking with places like colleges, senior centers, prisons, soup kitchens, and shelters to make sure that happens. And if they don't hear from someone at your address by August 11th, you might get a call, an email, a letter, or even a knock on your door before the end of October. When the final numbers are in, they go to every state to redraw the lines for updated voting districts. That means it directly affects how much and where your vote counts. And that's why being counted in the census is so important. This is Stephanie Haney, Legally Speaking, for 3 News.
All right, thanks, Steph. Rob Gronkowski and Shaq go head-to-head in a game of horse. So what could go wrong, right? What happens next in our Worth the Watch?
I do. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Yellow.
Check 1. Now you should have me. Sorry. Check 1, 2, 3. Brandon's microphone. Checking for the 6 o'clock show. This is what it'll sound like.
Yep, I am. Hey there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep.
We wrap it up with our Worth the Watch, and it proves that Shaq still got it. Watch this video. He was competing in a game of horse to benefit social justice charities. He was going against Rob Gronkowski. Watch what happens when he dunks the ball. He rips the rim off like it's a toy, Betsy. Now, I'm willing to bet that's not 10 feet, but it looks like it was a serious rim and backboard. And look at Gronk. He's just looking around like, what in the world just happened?
I'm surprised Gronk didn't lower his shoulder and take the entire backboard out.
He could have. Shaq's done that many, many times. It was one of his trademarks when he was a player. Gronk, of course, now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that is still weird for me to say.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for What's New. We'll be back